Good morning and welcome to JT in the Raw, show 15. Show 15. Hey, and if this is the first time you've tuned into JT in the Raw, you are going to be entertained, you are going to be educated, you are going to be amused for the next 12 to 15 minutes. It's my Raw. No political correctness, no makeup, no professional lighting, just me and the iPhone talking to you guys, trying to help you run your businesses, running your lives a little bit better. Morning was, how you going this morning? I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that watched JT in the Raw show 14 last week. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Now, we had record views. So not sure whether it was my rant about personal trainers or whether it was talking about onboarding or Chantel, my special guest, but whatever the case, thank you to everybody that tuned in. I really appreciate it. If you missed show 14, just put 14 in the comments below and I'll send you the link and you can hear about that onboarding and my massive rant where I got really red talking about PTs. Hi Islam, hi Brad, hi Darren, hi Hillary, hey Dave Macquarie, welcome and thanks for joining me. Okay, I'm in Brisbane, sunny Brisbane. It's a gorgeous day up here today for Fitness Biz Brunch. Morning DC, Daryl Calder, how you going? Well, Fitness Biz Brunch was supposed to be on today, but we've moved it to the 21st of October, which is when QFit's on. So if you're up here in Bris Vegas and you want to get along and see inside 50 gyms and studios from around the world, or you want to see the lowest cost marketing strategy ever in the fitness industry, in business in general, then grab your tickets to fitnessbizbrunch.com.au. That's where you can get the tickets, and I think we've got two more in Sydney and then Brisbane here in October, so you can jump on there. Okay, morning Matty Parry, morning Marlon. Marlon, welcome from New Zealand. How are you going this morning? Okay, now if you stay tuned in today, if you stick with me today, then you're going to hear about a book that I've just read and the assessment that it sent me to. Really powerful strategy for us as business owners, but also for our team. You're going to hear how important it is to work within your strength zone. Morning, Paul Kelly, and I'm not talking about pre-course strength zone. I'm talking about the strength zone that we actually have as people. And finally, you're going to hear what's on the minds of some Australian club owners, gym owners. What are they thinking about right at the moment? Okay, so what are we going to go to first? Let's go JT shout out. First shout out goes to Jared from Wow Wipes. Jared from Wow Wipes. And Dan from Easy Pay. Thanks, Dan, and thanks, Jared, for jumping on board as active management suppliers. So if you supply anything to any sort of fitness business, you can jump on our supplier directory. We've got two new, Jared and Dan, this week. So if you want to jump on, just give me a yell and I'm happy to, if you're a supplier, and I'll tell you all about the directory. If you're in the fitness industry and you want to know more about the supplier directory, just put supplier down the bottom and I can send you a link on our website so you can check it out. Morning Matty Fletcher, how you going? Second shout out today goes to Chantel. You all met Chantel last week and she is working her ass off this month. We have Podtober happening on the Fitness Business podcast, and so she is flat out recording interviews, editing interviews, doing absolutely amazing job with the show notes. This week she interviews John Lee Dumas, which is a superb interview. So you head across to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and you can listen to it live there. You can also get your copy of your notes at the same time. Thank you, Chantel. You're doing an amazing job. Really appreciate it. Third shout out this week goes to Chris G and Chris D, both from Melbourne, and they are two brand new coaching clients that I'm working with. You got your homework, boys, so get onto it. We'd also like to welcome back Willow. Willow's been overseas for a couple of weeks and she's back coaching again, so welcome Willow back to the coaching. Okay, what do we got? Ask JT this week. Hashtag Ask JT. Remember, you can ask me any questions you like about work, life, kids, sport, you know, who I would have picked in the Australian Kangaroo team, anything you want to talk about. In fact, you can even ask me how the Dallas Cowboys were able to beat the San Francisco 49ers last week, and I'll tell you, it was our quarterback. Just jokes. Just let's try to keep it around business. Okay, this week's question comes from Brakita. And Brakita sent me a message and said, Can you help me with an attention-grabbing headline to start my radio ad with? We all get creative block, Brakita, so it's great to be able to reach out to friends, family, colleagues and say, hey, can you help me out? So happy to help you out, Brakita. And let me answer your question with a question. Who is your ad targeting? You see, if you don't know who you want to respond to a Facebook ad, a print ad, an email newsletter, a direct mail, a TV ad, or in your case, a radio ad. If you don't know who you want to respond, you cannot build a headline. Simple as that. Your headline must show you understand who your customer is and that you can help solve their problems. Understand your customer better and you can then write a headline. Morning, Eugene, how are you going? So the answer to your question, Brakita, is really short. No, your customer. The process, though, is a little longer. Morning, Helen Suvalis, by the way. We're catching up next week, I hope, Helen. So you need to be able to fully describe what your ideal customer looks like. What do they sound like? You must truly know your ideal customer. You must build what we call an avatar of your ideal customer. What they like. It's more than demographics. Forget about demographics now. We need to understand the psychographics of people. And when you build this avatar of your customer, well, your headline, your copy, and even your offer is just going to fall straight into place. You cannot be all things to all people in your marketing. Get specific if you want to get results. Simple as that. So, by the way, if you want a copy of what an avatar checklist would look like, how to build that avatar, then put down the bottom in the comments avatar, AVATAR, and I will reach out to you with a checklist that you might be able to use in your business. And you're right, Brad. Yeah, it is. It's very cool, the whole concept of building an avatar. Hey, Helen, where are you flying to? You flying to Brisbane? If you are, I'll see you up here. Morning, Larissa. How you going? Matthew Cross just talked about the Cowboys. Welcome. So remember, if you guys have any questions, just hashtag AskJT on the messages below, in the comments below. Facebook me, tweet me, LinkedIn me, call me, email me, do whatever you like. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the book that I read this week. Now, some of you may have actually read this book. It is a cracking book. It's called Strength Finder 2.0. It's by Tom Rath. And I've got to be honest, I've had this sitting next to my bed now for a few months, and I just haven't picked it up and read it until this week. So here is the go. You read the book, and in the back of the book, there's a little code, and you go and you do your Strength Finder assessment. Hey, MCG, hey, hola, welcome. Are you in Miami still, Steve McGee? Strength Finder assessment, which is, you can actually just go straight to the website, and if you want to know about the Strength Finder assessment, put SF in the comments below, and I'll put the link to be able to find out your Strength Finder. It's an amazing book, and it's an amazing assessment. It's only $15, and to be honest, the report that you get after doing the assessment, you probably don't need the book. I don't know how much the book costs, but it might be cheaper just to get the assessment done. So as I say, if you want to know about the assessment, put SF below, and I'll talk a bit more about that shortly. But what about the book? What about the book? Morning, Lisa. Morning, Jess. Okay, here are some fascinating statements that I got out of the book. And it really challenged my thinking and clarity around business, and more importantly, around the people that we employ. People have several times more potential for growth when they invest their energy into their strengths and developing their strengths than in fact correcting their deficiencies. More chance of growth. That's fascinating. People who have the opportunity to work on their strengths in their jobs, i.e. do what they're really good at, are 6 times more likely to be engaged at work and 3 times more likely to say they have a quality of life. Man, isn't that amazing? Just to be able to work on what you do best every single day. One interesting statement that Tom Rath says in the book is this: you cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are. And that's really funny because, as parents, we often teach our kids, you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. And Tom Rath's going the opposite way, saying you can't be anything you want to be, but you can be more of who you already are. And he uses Michael Jordan, the basketball player, world champion basketball player, as a classic example. And what he says is this: Jordan practiced basketball and he got better, and he got better. But no matter how much time he spent practicing baseball or practicing golf, he never reached the same heights. No pun intended. You cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are. Now, the majority of people, over 70% of people, don't have the opportunity when they go to work to focus on what they do best. And what Tom Rath says is when we're focusing on what we do best, that's called our strength zone. It's not our weight strength zone, it's our strength zone at work. And when you're not in your strength zone, you in fact disengage from work. And he identifies a couple of points that I really want to get through to you guys today that are important, that when you're not in your strength zone, you dread going to work. You have more negative than positive interactions with your staff and your team members. You treat your customers poorly. You tell your friends how miserable your boss is and how much work sucks. And you have fewer creative moments. Now, the research from Gallup organisation says that when you do work in your strength zones, when you're in that strength zone, you have more confidence, you have more direction, you're more hopeful, and you're kinder towards other people. In fact, all of this is really key just to having a great quality of life. So, if you don't know what your strengths, if you personally don't know what your strengths are, do the assessment. It'll be the best $15 you spend. Just put SF in the comments below and I'll send you the link. I don't get any money out of this, there's no kickback. I'm just trying to help you guys out. So SF down there and you can do the assessment. So if I was a business owner, I'd really have all my staff do the assessment to ensure that I had them doing what they do best every day at work. It's really key. So I learned about myself. I've got to be honest, when I was doing the assessment, it's like 177 questions. It'll take you about 20 to 30 minutes, and there's either side, like options either side, and you've got to pick one or the other, and you only got 20 seconds. And I was doing it, I'm thinking, surely, really? Is this going to tell me what I'm like? I couldn't believe how accurate it was. Couldn't believe. Hey, DC, Daryl Calder, it's SF, not SZ. But I know what you mean, I'll send it to you. Okay. So, what are gym owners in Australia thinking about at the moment? Well, exclusive to you guys, as JT in the Raw watches, you can have an insight into what's going through the heads of some of the best gym owners in Australia. And here's what they want to know. You see, because next week we've got the Club Owners Industry Leaders Roundtable, and this week I've been putting the agenda together ready for next week. And here's what they're really keen on learning about. Benchmarks for sales numbers. They want to be able to compare closing ratios. They want to compare ratios from inquiry to appointment to joining. They want to look at different, is that closing ratio different for an incoming call? Is that different for a walk-in? Is that different for an email inquiry? Different sources. We're really going to drill down on those sales numbers. They want to know how much is a fitness business really worth these days. I love this question that we're going to discuss. With wage costs rising, what can we automate? What can we innovate in order to enhance member experiences without increasing the costs of running our business? Great question. Can't wait to explore that. We're going to talk about whether we should create staff brands within the business brand. I'm going to be all for that, but we're going to have a great discussion around that. We're also going to talk about sales funnels. And with sales funnels, how do we make them work in the fitness industry? What do we got to give away? What's the follow-up process and that sort of thing? These are just some of the specific topics that we're going to be talking about. But generally, we're going to find out, what the confidence level is in the fitness industry in Australia at the moment. Morning, Chantel. Morning, Alan, all the way from Ireland. Christy from the US, and Scotty G. How are you going? By the way, if you're a PT or you know any personal trainers that should join a roundtable, we've got some vacancies on the Industry Leaders Roundtable for personal trainers. So please tag them down the bottom and they can get in contact with me, or put ILR down in the comments below, and I'm happy to send them some information, have a chat to them about the Industry Leaders Roundtable for personal trainers. Okay, next week. What's on next week? Well, other than the Industry Leaders Roundtable, I've got a coaching session with a business in Melbourne next Friday, and we're going to talk about onboarding the members and getting getting a whole process set around making sure members on board all the way from point A to point B all the way through. So again, that's following on from last week's chat about new clients. It doesn't have to be in the fitness business, but we just need to acclimatise them with our business. So if you missed last week's show on onboarding customers, just put 14 in the comments below and I'll send you the link and you can watch it in your own time. Okay, that's about it for another week. Remember, if you think anybody that you know would get any help out of watching today's show, talking about the strengths, talking about the Strength Finder assessment, understanding about your avatar so that you can market directly to the person that you want in your business, or about the Industry Leaders Roundtable, just tag them in the comments below. I really appreciate it when you guys share the show. It just helps my message get out and it helps me get more listeners each week and more watchers to JT and the Raw. Okay, let's finish up. Quote of the week. Quote of the week is this: when you build your number one customer avatar, the headlines, the copy, and the offer will fall into place. When you build your number one customer avatar, your headlines, the copy, and the offer will fall into place. Thanks a lot for tuning in to JT and the Raw, show 15. Next week, show 16, 8 a.m. Sydney time. I don't know what that now works out across the world, but thanks a lot for tuning in to everybody. Really appreciate it. Have an awesome Friday. Apparently today, according to Facebook, is World Smile Day. So make it a real smile. Make someone smile. Have a great one. I'll catch you next week for show 16. See ya.